Do you want to take us into your example?
Yeah, this one is very hot off the press. Not as much as the Nike one, but it seems like we are
Pretty
hitting the
much.
future way faster than we thought with a launch of Neo. Neo is this like little consumer grade humanoid robot that's being marketed as one that can take care of your everyday household tasks. Like think about someone who can perform chores, load laundry, clear tables, prepare meals. It has this like nifty looking like human skin sweater on it, and it's very motor able. Like to
Mhm,
put it simply, like it can do very uh fine movements. So to kind of help out, and the way it was kind of launched was this very much I would say like reminds me of the ChatGPT billboard ads. It feels like something that it really speaks to human emotion, right? It's like it's being marketed as a human safe home robot. It's like showing like little soft design around like parents walking around like getting a little bit of help. Can you tell me a recipe I can make with this at home, right? So like it definitely feels like an extra helper that lives with you, like more of a lifestyle product rather than just like here's a Boston Dynamics style robot that's just invading your home, right? And I think it does such a great job of really showing what the world will be like in the future, right? Because you have so much tech nowadays that's focusing on like here's how we're going to be using this technology to optimize X, right? Or we have this, home device that's going to let you, replace your phone, but less about what is it that we're all trying to really achieve, which is comfort, right?
mhm,
It's having not a dystopian future, but something that's going to help you free up time and give you the extra care and need you want, right? It's like kind of a calm, quiet time versus what you see with the tech products of Rabbit or
mhm,
friend.com that kind of really focused on like we're going to really attach ourselves to the tech and how it replaces like your friends or like your phone, and we're going to have like a kind of a tech very tech forward unveiling. This one was just kind of came out of nowhere, and uh, I loved it. I thought it really just showed like how smart advertising can speak to what how you like de-risk innovation through storytelling, right? And I think
mhm,
that's the problem that a lot of these technology companies are having. They are not trying to sell us on quiet luxury. They're trying to sell us on the future. Well, the future is scary right now. AI is taking over. It's you have so many reports on what it's doing to the environment, what it's doing to safety, trust, that we need to build that as much as possible. So less of a gadget, more of a companion. I really wanted to call out that Neo does that well. And uh, while researching this, there was a surprising stat that really like wrapped this all together for me. Is that 68% of people said that they welcome robotic assistance if it was trustworthy and secure, which is wild to think of, especially in this age of AI. That we are willing to embrace the future in this way, right? Um, but this is all to caveat with two things. One, we're the price is high. This will be very much like future adopter, think Apple Vision Pro, that for tech that is still very much untested, right? Um, Also, like there's a little bit of the false sense of I don't want to say really false advertising, but the future that they painted is not exactly there yet. Because if you dig deeper into the tech, you actually need to have someone take over the robot for some certain tasks, right? So that trust and safety is also going to be coming to question when someone can peer into your house through the eyes of the robot to help you out from time to time, right? So there is going to be a lot of human assistance at the beginning until we get into the fully autonomous world that Neo is trying to sell us on. So there is that fine line they're teetering, and I think they didn't do the greatest job on kind of addressing that because again, if trustworthy and secure is a really big uh pain point, right? If it's a really big selling point for people, that's going to be important. I mean, and like people are obviously kind of memeing into it. They're very much kind of calling out the the fun stuff that the human and robot can do, or ways that they can even use it as a business. Like, hey, we can help with the elderly, right? This could be this could be great for an elderly home or like a warehouse that you can like remotely work out, right? So there's ways to kind of play into what the human assisted functions that the robot needs right now. um but I think the biggest thing to take all of it is that we desperately need to humanize tech. We If we're going to be using and relying on this tech that's one kind of quote unquote invading our space, like AI, right? Or very much like motor controlled robots. We need to very much lean into storytelling that really help show how it's used in day to day life and conversations and not really replacing anything, enhancing, right? Designed for the emotion, really be transparent as possible, which Neo's doing great. I would say they were doing um, 85% of the way. They could be doing more. Um, but also really really be aware of what is the price going to reflect, right? You're gonna have something that's going to be a subscription, or $20,000, right? This is, an early adopter kind of phase, right? Like, um, we
Yeah,
know
I mean,
that,
these sorts of products right now,
yeah,
this early, right? It's gonna have to be people that can, afford to pay. Yeah, like you mentioned, it's $20,000 as a one-time fee, or you pay $500 month to month with at least a 6-month minimum, and then kind of extending from there. I saw, two sides of that, right? Some people were full on like, yes, I welcome. I was one of those. Like, I welcome a robot overload that's gonna come and help me do laundry and wash my dishes and like clean my house. But once the privacy angle became apparent, it was like, okay, maybe not as like one of the first people to try it
right,
out, because as you mentioned, part of it is going to be remote operated by the company, which means that there's going to be a human that has to like be looking inside of your home. But I think the overall thing here is, I had two thoughts overall. One, um, finally, we are creating a robot that is going to help people inside the home and is not creating some sort of like military robot that's going to be doing, who knows what within the military. Um, and that kind of like went into the fact that there were so many people complaining, like, oh, like, why are we doing this? Why do people want like robots inside their homes? I'm like, the first thing I was thinking of was like, finally, like there's a robot that's going to come like help us do things that we know is like a problem or that people want help with, right? And it's not just creating AI to create another SaaS product or like a B2B enterprise, software, or, a friend, like necklace that like you talk to, but that like doesn't really have an actual purpose or use.
right,
Um it's like, hey, this robot is going to come in and help you like do the dishes and, do the laundry. I think that just in and of itself is like a novelty, because that doesn't seem to be what a lot of companies are trying to do, is like fix an actual problem that people have. So when I see the complaints, I'm like, why are you shitting on one of the few companies that's actually trying to help people? Of course, they're also shitting on like, Friend and like, Cluely and all that. Fine. But like, we're sending people into the arena to like, sending them into the arena to like fix the world and make things better. And like when a company finally does it, we just shit all over them. Like, come on, like I get that like, being a tech like pessimist is like very in right now, but like also we need to be highlighting what tech can do to improve people's lives. This is one thing. Like you mentioned, helping, seniors in like, in like the nursing realm, like that could be another thing that like probably would be an extension of this. So I think that was like a thing that I was thinking of. And then the second thing was, um, just like we've talked about this before, where a lot of the times when companies are putting together their like marketing for their product, they end up relying a little too much on where their product is going to be as opposed to where it is right now. So it confuses people because then they think that your product is further along, and so when you actually ship it, they get upset because their expectations were a lot higher than they would have been if you had just been real about it and said like, even within like your marketing materials, like, okay, these are like where it's not there yet, and it's like you had to go read the FAQs on their website to know like about the subscription service and then know about like the remote controlled operation that was happening. So that part of it didn't sit well with me because it's like you're falling into this like, misstep again of like overpromising for something that people right now are gonna just pillory you for because you're overpromising. We've seen that with the Humane AI pen, with the Friend AI pen. Like one of the reasons, not the reason, but one of the reasons people get so annoyed is because you say that it does more than it actually does, and then when they receive the product they've paid like 500, like, even the Vision Pro, you've paid $3,200 for this thing that doesn't do what you said it was going to do. And that pisses people off even more.
And I think that's like there's two words that you said that really stuck out to me. The tech pessimism, right? Like
Mhm.
we are just in this weird time where almost all of the products that really sold us on the future have been failing left and right, and they've been torn apart for it. They're pricey, and they haven't been as transparent as possible. I'm thinking back to Rabbit. I'm thinking about even like
Mhm.
the friend pin has been taking like forever and kind of like really being invasive. And the Apple Vision Pro, which like if you really kind of dug into it, was more of a tech forward device. It was meant
Mhm.
for like developers rather than a general consumer. And people are like, well, this is not it. And it just rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right. And Neo is very much trying to do that, which is why I kind of gave him the 80% credit of
Yep.
really selling us on that future. But they kind of lean into this YC combinator trap that I see, which is a lot of the hype, then invest in us for the
Mhm.
hype before we can really, have like give you the full 100% picture, right? And that's a problem, right? And it's just it's like why I really praise, for example, the Meta Ray Bans for doing so great
Mm.
because that they're trying to go for more of a like an AR future, but they know the tech is very limited right now, and they're very much addressing that, right? Like
Mhm.
it's very incremental. They're focusing more on tapping into fashion culture first and making it very stylish to wear this before the tech can catch up, right? That's where Snapchat had the misstep with
Mhm.
spectacles, right? It was very much focused on the tech and not the form factor of having
Mhm.
these glasses on you, right?
So apparently they're
Um,
coming back, right? With
they're coming
they're
back.
developing a new version. So
I
maybe
was
they've
able to
learned.
test that version.
Oh,
Well, one of
fun.
them, back
Uh-huh.
when I was at Snapchat. But even
Yeah.
but even then, I noticed that the way it's still for developers, but they're starting to talk about their partnership with, I think it was like another eyewear company to kind of make it as stylish as Meta's, right? To help soften the sell, right?
Mhm.
Neo doesn't have that, right? Neo is a product of its own, right? A human
Mhm.
robot. I don't think anyone's really kind of sold us on that. All we've seen is the Boston Dynamic robots tumbling and
Yeah,
and
there
doing their
was
stuff.
that other robot, remember that it's kinda looks like lights that hang by your bed and that are supposed to help you with laundry. I don't it was like a couple
I
months back. Yeah, that one also
I don't
came across
remember that
my,
one.
yeah. It was a weird one because it was like it was like 2, like, light fixture looking things that are over your bed, and, like, the video shows that, you dump laundry onto your bed and then it like folds up the laundry. So it turns out it was an AI video and it was more of
Oh,
a ideation type thing.
yeah.
But it is interesting that like laundry and like helping within the household does seem to be a thing that people are creating, right? Maybe that has to do with like the Jetsons having their like robot, that would like help them. She like mixed drinks for them and like helped raise the kids or whatever. Um so I do like that that's an aspect of the future that we are starting to see. Like we should be reaping those types of benefits. Like let's help humanity as much as possible, right? And doing chores is one of those jobs that nobody really wants to do, right? So come, be a robot that'll do that. I say.
Yes, please.
Um
I'm ready for it.
Exactly. Well, cool. So a couple lessons here that I had were that physical AI products are going to be marketed much differently than software AI. We saw that with like in the CEO like talking to like the robot himself and showcasing what it is that the robot does. So I do like that they were able to do that and to show that like what it is that the robot does. And then also it requires more customer education and like expectation management. Like you do have to like really walk people through like what's possible, what's not possible in order to set those expectations, because otherwise people are just going to go into it thinking that the robot's able to do something that it can't. So they kind of did that, but I hope that they do a better job going forward in order to not get as much backlash as they did.
And like we'll see how the release is like. We'll see who kind of is will be one of the first early adopters, but they're probably one of the better ones that I've seen in the last few months. So hopefully the tech pessimism will go away with this and they can deliver.